Miss Elise from AQR here again, just talking about a couple of things for this tutorial. We have an introduction to Stepwise and Piecewise, and actually it's not that difficult. Just need to go ahead and realize a few things. Now, first off, we have this little activity that we're going to be doing in class, and it's based off of something called let me see, the Sarif Simpson scale. And basically, it's a scale that measures the wind speeds of hurricanes. At certain wind speeds, a hurricane will be categorized under one of five categories. So we have these five categories. One being, not too bad, all the way up to five, which is oh my god. So it's based off of just looking at the wind speeds from 74 to 95. It's about let me see. That's 74 to 95 miles per hour, 96 to 110 for category 2, 111 to 130. That's category 3. 131 to 155, that's category 4, and we have our last one, which is 156 and above, which is nice, good fun. So, we're just probably wondering about how we're going to be doing this. So, just looking at a couple of things, we're going to have a couple this chart given with all these wind speeds and categories, like the Galveston storm, Brownsville, all the way down. We have all these storms right here. So I guess anything below 74 miles per hour is categorized as a tropical storm. Hasn't developed into a hurricane yet. So this is basically what we're going to be doing. You need to make a decision. Number one, are we going to go ahead and graph this by years to category, where this is going to be my X and this is going to be my Y, or is it something else? Are we going to be using wind speed as a category, as our Y, as our X, and then our Y is going to be the category? So we need to make sure we understand which one's best for us, which one's going to be. So if we look at a category 4, it has nothing to do with our years. Nothing, nothing. So since we don't use the years to go ahead and mark our category, whatever our wind speed is, that will go ahead and control our category. So since our category depends on the wind speed, that means that X is independent, and the wind speed is independent, and the category is our dependent. So we have our X and our Y just like that. And even then, if we look at our graph, at our charts, they have those two right there. Now it's just a simple matter, just looking at the wind speed. So for the first one, it's 155, which is about right here, and that's marked as a category 4. Then we have 125 miles per hour, so it would be right between these two, and that's a category 3. And then so on and so forth as we go ahead and mark this out. But we don't want to just do that. We want to make sure that we use the scale that they given us, this one right here, which is on this other page. This is page 32 inside of our books. That we're going to be using these wind speeds to mark this out. And what's really important to note is the beginning speed and the ending speed. So category 1, that is 74 to 95. So you look at 70, and it's just right about right there, all the way up to 95. So there's the end points. That's what you're going to mark first, and then you're going to draw a line just like this. Then for the next category, that's going to be 96 to 110. I really should do it on the bigger one, but I think I prefer this one. 96, which is just after this one, to 100, and I think it was 11 or 110. Let me check again. 110. So we have this right here at 110. We're going to draw a line. And then we get rid of these other points. You're going to have to actually have the points inside the class. I'm not going to show you how to graph points. Why would I do that? 111 to 130. So it's just a little bit off of this one. Whoops, that's right on it. We don't want it on it. So it's right there. To, what was that again? 130. So look at 130, right on it. Next one should be at 131. I think you guys are starting to see a little bit of the pattern. 131 to 155, which is right here, right in the center. And our oh my god, that's quite a storm. Let's just clear that up just a little bit. It's not exactly in the center, so just cut it off just a little bit right there. This is where that one is, all the way and beyond. It just keeps on going. It's like, oh my god, finger of God. So that's right, this particular thing, and this is what we call a piecewise function. Now we're going to be going ahead and doing some stuff in class to go ahead and clarify this each and every time. But I want you to go ahead and note this. This is something a little bit. When we go ahead and have a graph which has a horizontal line just like this, you know, just this is 0, 0. We have a graph going through this, y is equal to whatever that number is. So each one of these has a function to it. So this has a function y equal to 1. This is y equal to 2, y equal to 3, y equal to 4, and then finally y is equal to 5. And I just want you guys to start noting some things. We have something we call a domain restriction. Each one of these are restricted to a certain domain. It's restricted to only places that are above certain areas. So if we look at our domain restriction, this one goes from 74 to 95. So that's our domain restriction for that. This one has 96 all the way to 110. 111 to 130, 131 to 155, and 156 and beyond. Goes all the way up to infinity. So this is what we're going to be doing when we write our domain restrictions. This is really simple, and so you guys should understand this. Since we can go ahead and have this equal to 74 miles an hour, we're going to start with 74. And what's in the middle right here from these two numbers? Well, that's whatever x is equal to. So x is in the middle, and we have 95 at the end. And these two can be equal to this. I'm putting those little lines to go ahead and mark out our equal. So this is an equal to inequality. So 74 is less than x because 74 is on the left hand of x, so it's less than. And x is left of 95, so that's also less than. This also translates into an inequality that's just about the same as x greater than or equal to 74 and let me see, x less than or equal to 95. And that's our inequality for this. And we can do this with all of these particular inequalities. So y equal to 1 as long as x is greater than 74 and x is less than 95. But when we switch, like for instance when we go to our y, the next one, y equal to 2, well that's only equal to 2 when a particular case is happening, when x is in between 96 and 110. So x greater than or equal to 96 and x less than or equal to 110. Now to graph this on side of our calculators, that's actually really simple to do. I'm going to show you that really quick. So I still got stuff from the other time. You know, sometimes you recycle, sometimes you don't. Oh, hit the wrong button. Let me just go ahead and hit that. Equal, yeah, all right. So the first one, to go ahead and start graphing this, Need to do. You guys don't need to do this part. I just need to because, well, that's what it's telling me. So I'm going to go ahead and graph the first one, y equal to 1. So that's 1, and I'm going to put parentheses around that 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and start graphing the other stuff. I'm going to put in all the inequalities right here, the x and the 74. So x second math will bring up this menu. And we have this less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. So I want greater than or equal to, that's option 4. And I'm going to go ahead and type in the number they have right here, 74. Close parentheses, open parentheses. You have to do this with the parentheses because otherwise you're going to have some problems. X second math less than or equal to 95. So I'm going to close that. And I'm going to go ahead and graph this, but I have to set up my window first. So this is how you set up a window. There's a button right next to the y equals that says window. I'm going to hit that. And I'm going to follow what they said right here on the Texas hurricane. It goes from the y's. We're looking at the y's first. So I'm going to go ahead and see where it says y minimum. I'm going to go ahead and hit 0 on that. And then I'm going to hit its maximum, which is 6. And keep the scale at 1. That way we don't have any troubles. The x, the minimum starts at 70. And it stops at 200. And we'll keep the scale at 1 because well, let's not do that. We're going to go ahead and change the scale to 10 because if we look over here, it goes by tens. So I'm going to change this to 10. Push enter. Now I'm going to graph this. And as you can see, it only draws that one little line, and that represents the line from 74 to 95. If I want to do the next one, I just need to do this. When I combine these two together all in one, I'm going to add these two together. So I start with this, I go ahead and write that all, then I go ahead and add the next one, keeping my parentheses. So here we go, plus 2, parentheses 2. Always put the parentheses around your formula for y. It's good habit, and do it. I see, because I say so. X, second math, greater than or equal to. Well, not because I say so, because otherwise you're not going to get this to work. 95, and then times x less than or equal to 110. And then I'm going to graph that. So it draws the first two, and there we go. So this is how we start out our sans saffron, the Simpson scale. I prefer the second name because I like the Simpsons. Okay, so this is what you have, and each time we add this, we're going to go ahead and put a new line, and we do that for all 5 parts. So this is just showing you how to do this, and we're going to go ahead and talk about this a little bit more later on. Another thing I want you to go ahead and consider, what is our rules for, let's see, what's it called, to go ahead and have a function or not. What do we need to know? What do we need to not have? Remember, x cannot repeat. That's what you need to remember. X cannot repeat in a case where you have a function. So this is the one piecewise function, one big old function that we put together. And if you notice, each one of these looks like steps. Like we're taking a step here, taking a step up, or step up, and a step up. We can even go down, but this is basically looking like a staircase, so we call this a stepwise function. Piecewise is just a little bit different, and we're going to talk about that later on. But mostly we're going to be using the stepwise for today. Well, in class when we do this. Alright, and then that's about it. Talk to you guys later.